Live and pre-recorded, this is the Red Ticket Blues podcast. I am Brian Buckley. This is being recorded on December 21st to hit the internets on December 22nd. How's everybody doing? You can always listen to the show on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, YouTube, and follow me on Twitter at BrianBuck13 and at Red Ticket Blues. The Christmas season is upon us. Thank you for listening. How is everybody today? I'm joined by a very special guest. They've been on the podcast before, a fan favorite, if you will. My lovely wife. Hello, wife.
Hello, husband. Fan favorite. Who?
Mongo Nation.
Oh, well. Shout out to Mongo Nation.
Oh, yeah, of course. So how are you doing? Let's talk. You haven't been on in a while, so how's everything going?
Everything's been going fine. We're still married.
That's good.
So that's a positive.
Yeah, definitely.
And you got a new car.
No, we'll get into that. Well, that's really not that much to it. I was, it was... For podcast purposes, I was hoping it would be like some sort of back and forth struggle negotiation, but it really
pretty easy, right?
Yeah, it was really easy. It's really not that interesting, honestly. But we'll talk about it. But yeah, I got a new car. What else happened? Really? Anything?
No, I guess not.
Okay.
I guess,
That works for me.
Went to Puerto Rico, but that was a while ago.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, well, it's been a while.
It's been a while. That's true. That is true. So we'll get into a lot of different things today. Of course, we have to touch on the NFL.
Of course.
The NFL, there were some big games yesterday, some crybaby antics from Odell Beckham, which we'll talk about because he's a child. There's also Peyton Manning. A lot of reports that he's not happy in Denver, but he says it's complete, Peyton Manning's words, because we don't swear on this podcast, bullshit. That's what he said. We will get into a little bit of the baseball free agency moves in the hot stove with the surrounding three teams here, Mets, Red Sox, Yankees. And what else? We'll talk about a show that you and I have gotten into. We seem to get into shows way after they're popular. Well, this one actually is still going on, so let's give us credit here.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I told you that the next season is coming out soon. At least it wasn't like Dexter, where it ended 7 years ago, and we were just getting into it.
Yeah, but we didn't finish that one anyway.
Well, it got boring. He killed too many people, and his sister was really annoying. You hated her.
I did. I was not a fan of...
And, what was it, Deb? Deb.
Meg?
Deb or Meg? Either way, she was goddamn annoying.
One of those three-letter names.
And we'll also, I think, we'll discuss... Well, I didn't really brief you with this, with the Wu-Tang album issue.
I think you spoke to me about the release of the limited...
Yeah,
release,
but the guy who bought it.
Yeah.
The AIDS medicine.
What a horrible man, yeah.
Okay, so before we get into all that, Christmas is here. Don't you love Christmas?
Sure.
Jesus Christ. Shout out to him, huh? It's his birthday. He's going to be 2015 years young. How about that Jesus, huh?
You're ridiculous.
I caught you off guard on that one, didn't I?
Okay.
Yeah, good job out of him. I hope they're celebrating my birthday in 2015 years.
Doubtful.
Yeah. I kind of wish he was alive for, like, Twitter purposes. He'd be preaching so much. Shame retweeting everyone. Or he could be like a fun Jesus, too.
A fun Jesus.
Yeah, like, get with it and just, like, he'd be about Photoshops and whatnot.
Not an apocalyptic Jesus?
No, I'm talking, he wouldn't even have to do the real, he wouldn't need the software for Photoshops, he'd just do it.
Okay.
You're not feeling this,
I'm not really
this new age Jesus, huh? Well, we'll see what happens in the day of reckoning.
Okay.
Anyways, so let's get into the NFL real quick. What do we want to do? Should we go over the Giants and Jets, or should we get to the rest of the league first? What do you think?
Up to you. It's your podcast.
It's the Red Ticket Blues podcast, award-winning.
Which awards?
Don't know yet. When we don't say that on the air.
Okay.
Let's just go over some of these games, because a lot of these games are useless. So, Kansas City beat Baltimore 34-14.
Well, Baltimore, everyone's hurt there, right? So
yeah, they stink. So, Kansas City, hey, they're creeping on.
I know.
On the Broncos.
Denver, yeah.
And they won that game. Who cares, honestly? I mean, no one expects anything.
I'm sure they care.
Okay. Baltimore, no one cares about. Houston, Indianapolis, you got Brandon Weeden, who was cut by the Cowboys, leading the Texans to victory.
He's like a third string, right?
He's a third string. And then Hasselbeck was actually knocked out of the game for the Colts, who's a second string. He
came back.
Right, they brought in Charlie Whitehurst, and then he came back. Hasselbeck came back. Brandon Weeden is one of two players to suit up for the Texans and the Cowboys and be drafted by the New York Yankees.
Wow.
How about that?
That's
if you know the other one, say it
interesting.
right now. Did you say it? It's Drew Henson.
Okay.
Drew Henson was supposed to be the next third baseman of the future.
Now you're doing trivia on the podcast?
Trivia, that's right. That's right. Just like the contest. So Houston won 16-10, and they are the number one team in that god-awful division at 7-7. Jacksonville. Atlanta won a game. Holy shit, huh? 23-17. They beat the Jaguars. A positive season for the Jaguars, even if they are 5-9. Well, now that I look at it here, the passer obviously was Blake Bortles. The leading rusher was Blake Bortles. You don't want your quarterback rushing, being the leading rusher on the team. But hey, the Falcons 7-7. I don't need to be a broken record about them. They're pathetic. The Bears officially eliminated your team. Are you a Bears fan? Maybe, kind of.
Yeah. They break your heart, the Bears.
They're not good. They
Yeah.
lost 38-17 against the Vikings. The Vikings.
What are they going to do with that team?
You got me, man.
Well, what do you do at this point?
You got a guy in Cutler. I don't know what they're going to do.
But how old is he at this point?
He's got to be close to 35, 34, 33. Yeah. He's got between like 30, yeah, something like that. They got a great running back.
Yeah.
Matt Forte, 47 yards yesterday. Not that great, but I don't know.
Just not working for them.
It's just not working for him. New England 33-16 over Tennessee. This was not a shocker to anyone because the Titans are hot garbage. They are 3-11. So New England improves to 12-2.
Is Mariota hurt?
He's out for the year. Good call out of you. I think it's a sprained MCL. So Mariota is done for the year. And Zach Mettenberger will lead the Titans for the rest of the season.
Who's Zach something?
Mettenberger, he's a quarterback from LSU. He looks like real white trash.
Okay. I was actually thinking more about his abilities. But
I thought you wanted
not
physical.
so much.
Do you now the show F is for Family? Did you?
I watched it with you. Yeah,
right.
I was there.
What are you, Francesa? I was there. Remember the neighbor with the bushy blonde hair?
Yes, yeah.
That's kind of like what Zach Mettenberger looks like, but a more white trash version.
Okay. He
He was a decent college quarterback. He's a pretty good throwing percentage, 20 for 28. That's pretty good, 242 yards.
Is
But
he a rookie this year?
I think he's a third year.
You think?
Third.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not positive on that.
Okay.
But Washington-Buffalo game. Washington desperately needed to improve to 7-7, and all alone number one in the NFC East. They beat Buffalo. Rex Ryan's magic, not really working in Buffalo. An undisciplined team who can't do anything. What can you say?
I'm speechless.
Yeah, so am I. I couldn't talk. Green Bay versus Oakland. Another, again, there are no moral victories, but Oakland is improving.
They have improved.
They're 6-8, and they lose to Green Bay.
Decent quarterback.
That's right, Derek Carr, and they have a good wide receiver, Amari Cooper.
That's going to be a team that's going to get better.
Who knows where they'll be playing next year? Possibly Los Angeles,
that's right.
because Los Angeles has no teams, and then they have to be just greedy and possibly get two.
How does the city of Oakland feel about this?
They're all gangbangers. Who knows?
Oh, that's...
How does the city of Oakland feel? Well, I think I mentioned to you, they go back and forth. That this isn't the first time they've gone to Los Angeles. They've sort of gone back and forth. I would imagine there's a lot of San Francisco 49ers fans in Oakland, so maybe it's not completely heartbreak. Actually, but to San Francisco, they play in Santa Clara now. I'm not from California, so I don't know exactly how close Santa Clara is to San Francisco. But anyways, Green Bay beats them 30-20. Green Bay's obviously looking pretty good for the playoffs. And looking pretty good to win the division now with Minnesota. Well, Minnesota, they're let's see.
They won yesterday.
They won, but they're 9-5. Green Bay they're such a soft 10-4 too. There's so many games they should have lost, and games that they barely won. I'm not really Eddie Lacy. He wasn't even there. Look at that. Starks for 51 yards. Anyways, Cleveland, Seattle. Seattle, let's see. Did they cover the spread? Yes, they did. It was a 15-point spread. They took care of Cleveland, who's another team that is garbage. Johnny Manziel, 19 for 32 with 161 yards. Cleveland's, who knows? Maybe we'll see Johnny Manziel in Dallas next year. What do you think? Jerry Jones loves him.
Really?
Jerry Jones, it's written. Jerry Jones loves Johnny Manziel and domestic abuse people. Hey,
well, he
Michael
was
Irvin,
supportive
Greg Hardy.
Yeah.
We go to Denver, Pittsburgh. This was a rough one, and this is your boy, Brett Osweiler.
He's not my boy.
Okay. Brett Osweiler, not a good game. Well, the first half was good. They look,
the first half.
Yeah, look,
was very good.
the Broncos scored 27 points in the first half.
Yeah,
they scored 0 in the second half. And he just looked really rattled down the stretch. And Roethlisberger, for as much of a piece of garbage he is, hey, guy can play football.
Yeah,
he knows how to. What's that?
He pulled through, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he absorbs the hits. He knows what he's doing. So it leads us to a conversation here with the Broncos that there are rumors that Peyton Manning, your boy, that's your boy. Say it.
No.
You support him.
Yes.
Okay, we'll put it that way.
You're
a fan. You're a fan. Okay, so
nothing crazy, but I'm a fan.
No, I mean just a few fan mail letters. It wasn't that big of a deal. And we went outside his house once.
Yeah, that one time.
Okay. So there's a lot of rumors that he is. What are you shaking your head at?
He is what?
Oh, he's not happy with the role he's been given. He says that he will. These are the rumors that he will not be active until he is the starting quarterback.
Yeah, he discredited those rumors. Yeah.
Do you believe him?
Oh, I'm sure he's not going to play second fiddle to anyone.
Do you think that he is demanding to management, I will not be active until I'm the starter?
I think he's still legitimately recovering from the injury. Yeah.
So
he has to first practice with the team.
I think he did practice.
But no, he has to practice for a full week.
Okay.
Just be actually on his feet. So.
Okay. So he's been out for a month. They lost a game here, and now they're only one game ahead of the Chiefs. Does he start next week?
I don't think he's going to start next week.
No?
I'd be surprised if he did.
I forget who they're playing next week.
They are...
If you know this off the top of your head.
The Bengals, I think.
You're good. You're right. Bengals and Chargers. You're good. I knew there was a reason I married you. So that's a good job out of you. So I don't know either. You know, I thought it was kind of dickish of him not standing on the sidelines in those first few games.
Do you think it had anything to do with the injury itself?
I get that, but there's
I know he was booted, but
right, and I know. But listen, football's a different sport. I know you can't like sit down and do it. They want you standing there. I don't know. It just seemed a little weird. There was a lot of talking with him and Osweiler yesterday, so it seemed like there was communication. It wasn't like some pissed off little.
And he asked to go to
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So, who knows there?
I don't think he's anywhere near ready to play. He might anyway because it's
getting a little nitty gritty.
It is. Yeah.
Miami, San Diego, and two teams that really there's nothing to play for except for San Diego's possibly last home game in San Diego forever. Phillip Rivers, I think he's having a pretty good year actually. Another one of your favorites. And Miami, they're 5-9. You know, Ryan Tannehill is.
But they've been doing better under the new coach, right?
That was sort of a temporary thing. They fired Philbin, and then that guy that then they won a few games, and they sort of went to shit.
Okay.
So Cincinnati, San Francisco, you had A.J. McCarron filling in for the injured Andy Dalton for Cincinnati. Yeah, they won 24-14. McCarron didn't really put up numbers that astounded you, but they were playing the 49ers that are a very bad football
Dalton
team.
Expected back, or what's
that is? I guess he is. Yeah, the last I heard was he's not going to be ready until maybe the beginning of the playoffs. It's going to be very unlikely that he will play another regular season game.
Okay. But he will be ready for the playoffs.
I don't know if that's a guarantee either. They're 11-3. Wow.
Yeah.
Due to lose another first-round playoff game. So just a few weeks. And then, that will come to fruition. Last night, we didn't watch this game. The Arizona-Philadelphia, we were too busy watching our show that we'll get into. Didn't see any of this game. And it probably didn't look like I missed anything, or we missed anything. It was 40-17 Arizona. Oh, and did you see this last night, too? I guess the Instagram post was deleted, but Snoop Dogg said he wished death upon Chip Kelly because his coaching supposedly ruined Snoop Dogg's fantasy team. Because that's mature.
Oh, that's not very polite.
No, it's not. And what's he like? 50 years old, and he's got like he's got what's a shower cap on in the Instagram post. It's tough with rappers. It's like of all music, you feel like the youth. You're attracted to the youth and their message and everything, but it falls hard with rockers, but it falls even harder with rappers because there's no one respects a gangsta rapper like when you're old like that.
Okay.
Well, think about it. A bunch of OGs. Like, dude, stop. Mm-hmm. And I know we still laugh at the Stones and everything. They're 75 years old wearing leather pants, but I guess it's a little different. I don't know.
But you'd wish you'd wearing leather pants at 75.
I wish I could wear leather pants now.
Yeah.
That son of a bitch, Mick Jagger.
Yeah, that's right.
What else happened here today? Tonight's game, a game that does not matter at all, Detroit Lions versus the New Orleans Saints. On Saturday, the Jets took on Dallas, and they did not play a good game, but they ended up winning. Todd Bowles with some crucial decisions it was crucial, going for a fourth down on a big play and letting the clock tick down and not take a timeout where Dallas was forced to do things. Again, not a great game played by the Jets. Ryan Fitzpatrick with blood gash in between his eyes.
I thought that was kind of cool that he came out to the press conference, mm-hmm. and he was still in uniform with his bloody nose. Not like pretty boy Tom Brady or something.
You got something against Tom Brady?
No, but I like the fact he came out there, post game, just the way it was.
And Todd Bowles, I'll say this, who is the head coach for the New York Jets.
I know.
He has, whenever they show a coach on the sideline, they're always talking on their
he wasn't
headpiece.
doing much.
He never talks. I tell you, if the Jets...
He's a silent man.
I understand that. If the Jets, they're 9-5. If they were 5-9, you know how many people would be saying, he has no clue. He looks lost on the sidelines. He's not even saying anything. But exactly, everyone will get, you know what? This guy doesn't have to raise his voice. That's the narrative. He carries a big stick. He's like Teddy Roosevelt, soft voice. Presence, exactly. Yeah. See, just make up the narratives as you go along. That's the way it is. But let's get to the game that was just ridiculous by one man. And one man, well, not one man only, because both Odell Beckham and Josh Norman were at fault yesterday. Mm-hmm. They wanted to go at each other, and I don't think you know about these details. And the New York Giants themselves, forget the game, are embarrassing themselves right now trying to defend Odell Beckham, who is a diva like we've never seen. Supposedly, well, this is the thing. The Panthers have some sort of routine in their warm-ups or whatever. They always have a baseball bat.
Okay.
And supposedly, someone was on the sidelines, maybe even Norman, I don't know, I think it was Norman, saying that he was holding the bat, saying to Beckham, warming up, "I'm going to end your career, pretty boy." Something like that's... Well, there's video of a guy holding a bat, because they do come out with that sometimes. Okay. And now the Giants are also reporting, well, Beckham, they're not defending him, but just, throwing this out there for people to go, oh, see, he had a reason to do it. Saying that they were being yelled at. Beckham was being yelled at with homophobic slurs.
Okay.
And saying, well, Norman did say, you want to act like a ballerina, I'll show you something, whatever. Here's the thing with that. And there's no place for that. I could say that the PC thing, there's no place for derogatory comments in sports. But, is that really, groundbreaking? Did everyone think that, NFL players said stuff like, hey there, Buster, I'm really going to stick it up your patoot this game? They say shit like that. It's trash talking. It happens every single game. So the Giants, a proud franchise that disciplines their players, that doesn't let divas run all over the place, are just making excuses for this egotistical maniac in Odell Beckham.
He's an immature kid. He is.
And I'll tell you something. Eli, on with Mike Francesa today,
defended him.
He's in a tough spot. He didn't defend.
Has to.
Yeah. And I've told you this before about Eli. Whatever the case, he will always say, the receiver could drop every single ball, and it could hit him right in the hands, right in the chest, and he'll go, you know what, that one was on me. That one was on me.
Yeah, that's what a captain has to do.
Odell Beckham yesterday, and, again, to bring up Francesa again, he talked about how Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, all these diva wide receivers of the past have acted like maniacs sometimes and just been so, caught up in their own head. But most of that is off the field. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I've ever seen anything
was pretty ridiculous.
Like what happened yesterday with Odell Beckham. He ran all over the field. Then the spearing into Josh Norman. Mm-hmm. And then stepping on him. And then after that tying touchdown, 35-35, the running around as if he had just crossed the finish line at the Olympics and they were throwing roses at him. I mean, I've never seen a more me display in my freaking life.
Surprised at is that Coughlin is letting.
That is the number one thing.
This is really that's what's weird. He's a disciplinarian. No, he's known as this tough discipline guy and whatnot. And what's going on?
Absolutely, that was the question that's been brought up a million times on WFAN today. And obviously, if it's brought up there, then it's real news.
I'm on my way out. I just really wanted to. Well, I mean, obviously they wanted to win yesterday's game, but is it just can't put?
Mike said Tom's not Tom anymore.
Oh, okay.
You're absolutely right, though. I think this is the fact: the Giants stink. He's the only source of offense.
Yeah.
And they're scared to discipline him.
I think
they have nobody. And today, I don't know if you're aware of this, they did suspend him. The NFL suspended Odell Beckham for 1 game.
The NFL did.
That's right.
Yeah. Did they fine him?
That I'm not aware of.
They should fine him.
He's going to appeal the suspension. Yes, they did not suspend Josh Norman. I do not know if they fined him at this point. As we're talking, it's 7:11 on Monday evening. Mm-hmm. We're not doing it in the morning. Be quiet. What was I going to say? So, I've never seen anything like that. It was absolutely ridiculous.
It is. It was. The whole thing was.
And you know what? He didn't even take any blame afterwards. He just said, I think this was the word, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate what happened.
He said this?
Odell Beckham. Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate. You know what's unfortunate? Like when you're making food and you spill it on the ground. Not like to try to fight Josh Norman 5 separate times in the middle of a game. He wasn't even running routes anymore. He was just trying to fight this guy.
Yeah. No, you got to give it to Norman. He got in his head.
Absolutely.
That's the whole purpose.
Absolutely. So, I mean, it's one thing to lose your cool. Like, that whole spearing incident, if that were the one thing you could say, Jesus, Odell, Jesus Christ, his birthday again. You don't want a blasphemous podcast. You do not like this.
I don't care.
Okay. But he did that, and let's say it was just that. We say, okay, all right, he lost his cool. He did not lose his cool. He lost his mind in this game. There's a difference between losing your cool and losing your mind. Yeah. He lost his mind. So we'll leave it at that. Odell Beckham has a lot of maturing to do.
Oh, yeah.
And the team is... The Giants are still in it.
Mm. I mean, what has to happen for them?
The Cowboys lost, so they're done.
Yeah.
I think the Redskins play the Eagles next week. They're only 1 game behind the Redskins. So let's say the Eagles lose. The Eagles win. Redskins, and then the Giants win next week. They're all tied again.
Okay.
And
this is ridiculous.
And the Giants play the Eagles on the last game of the year. Which we had Joe Giglio on a month and a half ago, and he said, I wouldn't be surprised. I think he thought the records would be a little better, but I wouldn't be shocked if that last game was a de facto playoff game.
Yeah.
And it may end up being that way. In the last game, the Redskins play the Cowboys, so the Cowboys have nothing to play for other than to ruin the Redskins' possible playoff hopes. Okay. I don't know who the quarterback will be that day. If Matt Moore, I mean, they're running out of quarterbacks there. That's a franchise. They got to move on from Tony Romo.
How about the Jason Garrett, is it?
Right.
The coach? What are they going to do with him?
Yeah,
Everyone's talking about he should be fired.
You ask Cowboys fans, I think they've had enough of Jason Garrett. Yeah. He's been there, 4 or 5 years now? And they normally don't get rid of coaches that quickly. So, I mean, they're not somebody that goes through coaches. They usually, I mean, they've had guys like...
But he played for the team.
Right, right. But I know.
There's that history there.
I know. You got Jimmy Johnson, you got Tom Landry. I mean, you got a few guys that took up decades. It's not a franchise that changes coaches that often. So we'll have to see what happens there. Again, tonight's game, and just embarrassing. So if Odell Beckham wants to come on the podcast, I asked him on Twitter. If he wants to come on the podcast and explain his actions, I mean, he's more than welcome to.
Of course.
Anytime. Anytime he wants to, that's fine. And it'll be fair and balanced.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay. We report. You decide. So, all right, let's move on. Let's move on to baseball real quick. The Yankees picked up Starlin Castro from the Chicago Cubs, and it was a pretty good trade, actually. I mean, they got rid of Adam Warren, who, listen, we all realize Adam Warren was never going to be anything. The guy's a good spot starter or long man, but he was never going to be a starting guy. So thanks for everything, Adam Warren, and I think a few prospects for Starlin Castro. Now, Starlin Castro has a bad reputation of being lazy, loafing it up first base, not trying that hard, a la Robinson Cano. And you know what? I'd like to give the guy a clean slate. He's 25 years old. He's made the All-Star team 2 or 3 times already.
Pretty good.
He's also a guy that got lost to Wrigley Field when he was playing for the Cubs.
Well,
It's not that confusing around there. We've been there.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know where he was traveling from.
Exactly.
So that's really the only big news the Yankees have made. Starlin Castro, and then I think a few fringe moves. Nothing enormous. The Red Sox, obviously. Now, you are a Red Sox fan.
Yes.
Made the big move for David Price. Now, here's the thing. There's 2 camps with this. There's the camp that says that's way too much money, then the other camp that says, who cares, it's not my money. Are you in both of those camps, or what do you think?
Well, obviously it's not I wish it were my money.
No, the $207 million isn't your money?
No, it's way too much money. It's a contract. It's too long. I don't agree with it, but
What about when the season starts and he's 10-0 with an ERA under 2?
Well, let's see how when it counts. Also in playoffs,
which he is not very good at.
Yeah.
And you know what he's also not very good at? When he pitches against the New York Yankees. That's why I think I always get this perception that David Price isn't worth the money, because his career record against the Yankees is not good. No, I realize there's,
other teams,
29 other teams, but 28 other teams. 29 other teams.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm watching Yankee games.
I agree with what Adam Kaufman was saying. I mean, I understand they needed a
make
pitcher.
A splash.
They needed to do
pitcher,
something. Yeah. So that's true. It's a lot of money, and I don't know if at the end of the contract it's going to be worth it.
Well, here's the thing.
It's what all these contracts are, though.
You're paying for the first few years,
yeah,
and then
exactly.
This is the thing, though, that I've noticed has become a trend in baseball, is the opt-out clause like 3 or 4 years in. Now, Zach Greinke got a similar deal where it was like $217 million for 6 years for the Diamondbacks, which, listen, the Diamondbacks are going to be, they can even be able to suit up a team other than Zach Greinke.
Maybe he comes out by himself.
Like that George Steinbrenner skit on SNL where he just plays every position.
Yeah.
Well, they just signed a $1.2 billion TV deal, so I guess they came into a lot of cash. But still, a lot of these contracts now have opt-out clauses, but they're player opt-out clauses. Like, team opt-out clauses would make more sense. Like, we'll decide if we want to pay you more. But these player ones, I mean, David Price is making, $31 million? So after 4 years... Is he really? I mean, is the payroll and the standard of wealth going to increase that much in 3 to 4 years where he thinks he's going to opt out and get a better deal than that?
I don't see how.
Yeah, but it's just insane.
Sometimes you just wonder how these negotiations even go, where this amount of money and then the years, just how
for a pitcher.
Yeah, exactly.
Ugh.
Because he's young, but he's
30,
not
31, something like that.
Yeah, so
yeah,
what are we talking
he's going to be
about?
37, 38 years old.
Yeah.
I know, you never know what you're going to get there. And pitchers with injuries. Yeah. And they also added a closer. How old is Koji? Do they still have him? Maybe they're using him as a setup guy, but they brought in Craig Kimbrell, who, in all honesty, I hear the name all the time. I see the stats. I never see him because he plays in the National League. Mm-hmm. But I guess he's very good.
He is good.
And I think that's really it. There's been rumors that the Red Sox have tried to get rid of Hanley Ramirez, and not one team is interested in his lazy ass. Yeah. So that should be fun, because he's always fun with the clubhouse when things don't go his way. And I guess that's about it. They signed Chris Young from the Yankees, which, who gives a shit? I don't even think they had a press conference. I think it was just a conference call. They're just like, yeah, by the way, we picked up Chris Young. Yeah, he was sometimes better than Carlos Beltran, so we threw him in right field. The Mets have really not done anything. They picked up a second baseman's name. They just picked up his name, not the player. The player staying in Colorado, or I forget, second baseman, I forget the guy's name, I apologize. But that's really the only work they've done.
They have a pretty...
Well, they're not going to do anything with the pitching, obviously.
Oh, God.
If anything...
That's anyone's dream right there.
Exactly. So the two people that have been rumored... well, not rumored, but free agents that the big name ones have been Daniel Murphy and Yoenis Cespedes.
Oh, that's right.
Yoenis Cespedes.
Oh, he's going somewhere, isn't he? Or he's...
You don't hear anything about either of them.
I thought
it's like they're in another country vacationing together. You don't hear anything. So there's really not much to report on the Mets front, and the Mets fans are starting to get a little anxious already that the Wilpons don't want to spend money. I would imagine so. I would imagine Cespedes probably is too. Gone. But they need to come to grips with that maybe and start working on.
I don't know where Murphy. Well,
he should be playing in an American League team so he doesn't have to play the field. But at the same time, is someone really going to want to sacrifice their DH for a guy that hits good but not great? He's a streaky hitter, too. You usually like to put in those designated hitters, you like to put some power hitters, like David Ortiz. What? Yes, he is a power hitter. I'm not joking.
I know.
So, not really much to report on the Mets front, honestly. So, we'll go into baseball soon. I'm looking forward to it.
Going to baseball soon. It's December.
It's true, but pitchers and catchers in
February.
A month and a half or a month.
It's still a long
we'll have to get some baseball guests on. Hopefully we'll get some baseball guests on soon. Well, maybe not soon, but soonish in the next month and a half.
There is also basketball.
That's true.
There is also hockey. There are other sports. I know.
We have a scheduled basketball guest coming up in January. And another scheduled guest. We got a few people already lined up for January.
That's right.
Not giving out names because we know life can happen.
Life can happen.
That should be a slogan on a shirt or something. Some housewife wearing that shirt driving.
Why some housewife?
Because you're not going to see a guy.
Why not?
You're going to see a guy wear a shirt that says "Life can happen." Maybe like a grandpa.
Okay.
Anyways, so what's next on this extensive notes I have written on a sticky? The show that we've been teasing. So I talk about on the show. How far are we into this thing? Jesus, we're at 30 minutes. See how much fun it is? It just goes by quick, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Maybe we'll skip this. Well, we got to quickly talk about the Wu-Tang thing. We already brought it up.
You're the one who knows.
Okay.
What you
so this show, like I said, we sometimes get into shows very late.
We binge watch.
Yeah, we're not trendy too. We wait for them to settle, let it breathe a little. Then we'll take a gander at
it. Like a good wine.
Like a good wine. You let it breathe, a little aroma. Watch an episode, then say to HBO or Showtime, say, yeah, that'll do. That'll do. So we've been binge watching Ray Donovan.
But the thing is, then we end up hating the show.
Yeah, that usually...
and we're actually angry at the show.
But you more so than me.
Yeah. I am to blame.
So if any of you have not seen Ray Donovan and you want to watch it, you may want to fast forward through this. We're up to we saw the first episode of season 3 last night.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. So let me explain the premise of the show if you don't know anything about it. Ray Donovan is sort of like a cleaner for
celebrities,
for celebrity
rich people.
Yeah, he doesn't do much killing in the beginning.
Yeah.
Again, there's spoilers here, so watch out. Spoiler alert. So yeah, he takes care of things, and this is the oddest part of the show, I think.
Okay.
The fact that his wife, and he has his brothers there. They own a gym.
Yes.
And his father, who just got out of jail, John Voight.
Yeah.
Remember, George drove his car.
Mm-hmm.
Bit Kramer.
Yep.
And they're all from Boston.
Pencil. Yeah.
They're all from Boston, but the show takes place in L.A.
Yeah.
It's like Saved by the Bell, when the first season with Miss Bliss, they were all in Indiana. Then all of a sudden they just moved to California in the next one. Do you remember Good Morning, Miss Bliss?
No.
They were in Indiana. Belding was the principal. Zach was there. Lisa was there. Screech. They left a few losers there back in Indiana.
Well, again, why would... Yeah.
And then they gained Kelly, Jesse, and... AC showed up too. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of what it's like. So all these people, and they have these stereotypical Irish tendencies, Boston, Southie. The wife has jet red hair. Mm-hmm. She's a sassy little broad. Excuse me. Sassy little lady. Excuse me. The brothers, they all work in a gym. And the father's name's Mickey. And the brother's name's Terry. He's a former boxer. I mean, it's a little odd in that way. But what do you think about the show overall?
I'm not liking it right now. I want it to end.
What don't you like about it?
Well, first of all, it's just like you said. Just with the name, going along with the names, it's very predictable. The storylines, you can almost guess what's going to happen from.
You've done it several times, actually.
Show, so.
You're like, oh my God, he's going to shoot him right now. And I'm not even thinking that, maybe just because I'm slow and you're smart. But You're just like, he's going to shoot him right now. 5 seconds later, boom, happens.
It's just, and I know these shows have to have an overwhelming amount of drama, but we're talking just ridiculous amounts of.
Right. I mean, basically, again, the premise is he's a cleaner. He gets involved in all sorts of violence and intimidation. He cheats on his wife all the time with a million different women. Because, he's a big stud. He never wears a tie, drives a BMW, no, a Mercedes. He's just really cool, dapper. Mm-hmm. And he's got a son that's really dense. I don't find him very interesting. The daughter...
He's just forgotten about that.
Yeah, seriously. I was mentioning, too, that happens to a lot of teenage boys on shows. Their character just doesn't go anywhere. While the girls, a lot of times, because there's the love interest more.
The problem with the show. It's just a lack of character development, really.
And it's just, his wife has always got an... No, you're right. You're right.
Superficial character.
And the daughter became in love with the rapper neighbor. This rapper who just became like globally famous happened to live right next door to them. And guess what? Ray didn't like him. Oh. And I mean, this guy who's a rapper, you see all the women in rap videos, and it just seems weird that he'd choose this ordinary girl that lives next door when they weren't even good friends to begin with. I mean, to each his own. Mm-hmm. I understand, but it just doesn't fit the whole hip-hop.
Okay.
You know what I mean. Uh-huh. So that's, I mean, we continue watching it. I don't know if anyone else has feelings on Ray Donovan.
Doubtful.
I mean, he kicks ass. I mean, the show, listen, it's entertaining to say the least, but it's totally ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
Like, the first few episodes, I thought, this is a good show. Now it's just insane.
How about F is for Family?
F is for Family, that's right. Well, it was only 6 episodes. Yeah. Now, you've heard me mention Bill Burr on the podcast a lot, comedian Bill Burr, and he has a show on Netflix that he's been promoting the hell out of on his podcast for about a year. And it was pretty funny. I mean, it wasn't the funniest thing I've ever seen. You missed the urinal part. Did you see that?
No.
That was hysterical. They went to a football game, and it was just like guys passed out, burping, just streams of piss everywhere.
I like the idea behind the show,
right?
About this ordinary guy who doesn't fulfill his dreams and blah blah blah.
I mean, it takes after like a lot of cartoons like Family Guy or even Simpsons. Yeah. Mm-hmm, but this one's a little different, I guess, just because they're swearing. Maybe it's a little different, gives a little more freedom because it's on Netflix. Mm. So even though Family Guy pushes the envelope way too much, but would you recommend Ray Donovan to another?
Nah.
You want to watch Ray Donovan tonight?
Probably will, but.
Multiple episodes?
Just have to finish it.
But then season 4 is this year.
Oh, God, no.
You're going to watch it.
Probably.
Don't lie.
Commitment.
And I guess we'll end the podcast. Let's see. Yeah, almost 40 minutes here. So, did you find this strange? Now, this guy, I don't have the name in front of me. Who cares? Who is working in the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah, the pharmaceutical industry in general.
Right. It's almost as bad as the food industry, like Chipotle. Did you see there were more E. coli, or is it E. coli? Or
I believe it was, yeah.
Ingredients within food with integrity, supposedly. Oh, and I don't have my phone on me. Oh, here it is. I was looking up to see like what their official stance on it was and everything. Who's texting me? My brother. Okay, so what he says here, and of course, look at this ridiculous picture of it here. It's the CEO chopping stuff, because I'm sure that happens on a daily basis.
Wish he had gloves on.
Yes. He does have gloves. No, he doesn't. No, he has one glove on, but he does not have 2. Anyways, he has this comprehensive food safety plan, supposedly. Now, you've seen the employees at Chipotle. Yeah. Do any of them look like they're getting down with a compromised food safety plan?
No.
They're into scooping copious amounts of guacamole and sour cream onto your burrito where it's almost oozing out to a disgusting point. Am I making you sick?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. But back to the AIDS, not the AIDS guy, the AIDS pharmaceutical guy. He raised the price 5,000%, bilking people out of their money with a terminal disease. Okay. And Wu-Tang, the rap group, who's been around forever, and I've always liked Wu-Tang because they sort of have this vibe, even when they came out with their first album, as if they'd been around forever, like they were a veteran group, but they really weren't. I don't know. It was just sort of the gritty New York style of the early 1990s. Rappers rapping under a bridge, and just lots of hoods on, everyone trying to mug for the camera, and this is when rap was rap, like they had the last song of an album and everyone was just yelling out nonsense. I've talked about this before, haven't I, in the podcast?
Yes, old man.
Be careful. Cuidado. Hey, we're coming up on a year on this, so I realize there's going to be some material that's recycled, all right? I'm trying my best.
Okay.
Anyways, they're trying a new procedure on how to advertise or even, sell their record. So they decided that they're going to have a record that is only bought by one person, an auction, like a piece of art.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy ended up bidding on it and winning.
Yeah.
It was like $2 million or something. So I guess part of the stipulations was that it couldn't change hands for 88 years. And it's totally Wu-Tang like to bring up like this weird number from anywhere, as if they're such like some spiritual group, like because they watch old kung fu movies that they're like more in tune with things. But now the fact that he is being sued and arrested, and all of his assets being frozen, and I think they're considering that CD to be an asset, and it's part that it can go back to two sources. Now, I don't know how this plays, but I guess it could go back to either Wu-Tang or actor Bill Murray. Now, the only really way I can understand this is I know Bill Murray was in a few independent movies with, I think, like RZA and Jizza. I think RZA compared this album to like an Egyptian, what are those things that like a king would have? Like a septic?
Spectre?
No, a specter's a ghost. Septical? What's the word? I know people are listening to this going, "You idiot, it's this!" A scepter. A scepter, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
You said a specter.
Oh, that's right.
A specter is like a ghost. A scepter. It's like, this CD is kind of like an Egyptian scepter. It's like, calm down, man. But it could go to Bill Murray or Wu-Tang. And I found that just kind of interesting. Not really any punchline there. Just thought it was kind of interesting.
Okay.
Well, I guess that's the podcast. You can always listen to the show on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, YouTube, and follow me at BrianBuck13 and follow the show at Red Ticket Blues, right?
That's right.
Like the show on Facebook, and remember to leave a review. Remember that. Put it in the memory bank, right? Put it in the memory bank. With all that being said, I'm out of here.